Welcome to Pop Culture Roulette for all your pop culture needs. We're America's podcast.
Yay.
Yay. Start the year off strong.
Starting the year off strong. All right, I am Nicholas. I'm joined by people who are sitting on the edge of their seat, eagerly awaiting what could be a very important game.
It's always an important game when it's in the division.
Yeah.
We got Justin and we got Jeremy.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, that's us.
All right. Well, I hope everybody had a good Christmas. I know we took a week off of our traditional podcast and we aired an interview. So we haven't really talked to each other very much. Everybody had a good New Year, I hope.
Yeah, mine was like very boring and adult for the first time in a while. Just watched the new Bond movie and then I passed out. It was good.
Did you even make it to midnight?
I did.
Oh, okay.
But a little bit after that, I'd say I probably passed out.
Yeah, I just stayed home and we watched the movie Don't Look Up. It's that new Netflix one with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Any
Jennifer
good?
Lawrence. Yeah, it's really long, but it was good. So we watched that and watched the ball drop at midnight, and then we were like, that's enough. Go to bed. 12:05 in bed.
I went over to the in-laws' house and about 9:30 we left and came home. And then we just chilled for a little bit. And then she went to bed. And then I played video games for a little bit, turned it off, watched Miley Cyrus have her own version of a ball drop.
Oh, yeah, I watched some of that.
Yeah, I turned that one on too. And this was the first year the little one was staying up till midnight. So I turned that one off and turned on the country one from Nashville. And I was like, this is
Safer.
Yeah, more appropriate.
Yeah, I don't. First off, I don't know what's wrong with Noah Cyrus.
You mean?
She looks. Well, I don't. Well, we're trying to stay positive, so we'll move on.
Oh, you can go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, she looks like she's been just smashed in the face with a frying pan.
Damn,
Ah,
that's a harsh critique, but fair.
But also she can. I don't think she could possibly have been wearing underwear, because that dress was cut so high. And then,
yeah, I too noticed that.
And clearly, based on what happened with Miley later, she wasn't either.
Right. Yeah. It was awesome. It was like one of my favorite New Year's events that they've ever had on TV.
Pete Davidson was funny because he clearly doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he doesn't care what I honestly do, like, if his career goes away tomorrow, I don't think he cares. Like, I think he's just saying whatever he thinks he can get away with saying, or just to see how far he can push it without.
It does seem that way. Yeah. I enjoyed that, like the little banter and some of the skits in that. He was funny. I like that they did the 09 recap because they're like, yeah, this year sucked. We don't want to recap it.
But I didn't know who a single one of those people, other than Miley Cyrus and Noah Cyrus, I didn't know who a single one of those singers were. So I felt very old.
Yeah, I didn't really know that many either.
I was like, man, if I was playing that one Jeremy game, real or fake,
yeah.
Oh, I might suffer on that one.
Yeah. I liked the did you see the cover that they did of Jolene?
That's, I think, when I turned it on.
Oh, okay. That was pretty good.
But yeah, then after that I turned it off and went back to playing Injustice 2 and proceeded to beat people to death with Bane.
Nice. Good choice.
Till about 2 o'clock in the morning when I started falling asleep and was like, I should probably go to bed. All right. Well, so this episode, we're going to talk about New Year's related pop culture trivia and various different New Year's related things. So, obviously, the first thing we have to talk about is New Year's related movies. So, I've got a list of them here. What I did discover, though, is that there's not a lot of movies that are just about New Year's or New Year's Eve itself. Most of them are like just like have scenes of it. So the first movie was from 2011, was called New Year's Eve. So that one actually was about New Year's Eve. That's the whole movie.
All right.
I've never seen it. I've heard it's terrible.
Wasn't it set in the same universe as that Valentine's Day movie?
Probably.
Okay.
I think it was made by the same people anyway.
Okay. All right.
So then you had Sleepless in Seattle that just had a scene like in some of these, like I kept it to just like if it only had a scene, like it was a relatively important scene or a bigger scene, it wasn't just like, like 5 seconds and then they moved on.
Mhm.
But I've never seen Sleepless in Seattle. I found a list of movies and I was like, seen it, not seen it. Enough talked about that I had to, figure I should write it down. Rent apparently had a scene on New Year's.
Okay.
There's a movie that Jeremy, you might have seen called Four Rooms.
I think I have seen that movie.
Tarantino directed a quick little part. Robert Rodriguez directed. It was 4 parts to a movie.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And Tarantino did one, Robert Rodriguez did one, and I don't remember who the other 2 was. But they kind of like it was all set in the same hotel.
Uh-huh.
It's a pretty decent little movie. Oh, but the whole movie took place on New Year's Eve. Waiting to Exhale began on New Year's Eve and ended on New Year's Eve. And then there was a whole bunch of stuff in between. About Time, the whole movie was about time travel, also involving New Year's Eve.
Is it was that a romantic movie?
Yes.
Oh, so it's not like a cool time travel movie.
No.
Okay.
Never are.
Forrest Gump had some New Year's Eve content. Are We There Yet was all about getting the kids from one place to another for New Year's Eve.
Okay.
Have either of you actually seen that one?
I think most of it.
That's one of those movies where you're just like, Ice Cube used to be this hardcore gangster rapper,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and now he's doing
Whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever that was. I mean, it was very much a kid's movie, whatever it was. So it's kind of like, it kind of was like, man, this tarnishes my image of Ice Cube just a little. And Are We Done Yet is not involved. I mean, that's a sequel. I was forced to watch that on an airplane. One of the last times I flew on a long enough flight for that movie was awful. Anyway, a movie called The Holiday,
Okay.
which we might have talked about. No, because we didn't talk about Christmas movies. We talked about Santa movies. Mainly more about Christmas, but they had parts of it with New Year's.
Someone actually gave that to me one year as a gift. One of my girlfriends, and I was like, "Isn't this a chick flick?" And then like she's like, "No, you'll like it. It'll be fine." And I was like, "This is definitely a chick flick." Like we
Did you-
started watching it. And like, this is a chick flick.
I was going to
That's
ask
the
if you
one with
watched it.
That's the one with Jack Black, right?
Yeah.
It's okay,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
it's definitely a chick flick.
yeah. It's like you bought me this so you could watch it with me. I mean, there's no other reason to buy this for someone. Anyways,
Anyway, Bridget Jones' Diary begins and ends with New Year's Eve. Oh, then there's 2 movies, one called Poison and one called The Poison Adventure. One's a remake of the other one.
okay.
The whole thing is set on a cruise ship at New Year's Eve, but of course the cruise ship like gets flipped upside down from a
Oh,
tsunami,
yeah.
and then people have to escape.
I think I've seen that actually.
While You Were Sleeping had a scene for New Year's Eve. Snowpiercer. I don't know if you've ever seen that god awful movie.
No.
No.
Um, it's set in the future where the climate has gone so crazy it's frozen the entire world, and the only people that are still alive are on a train that is going around the planet. And
Did they have to stay on this train to stay alive?
yes,
Oh,
so the train just keeps going around the world, and the further back in the train you are, the more lower class citizen you are. So the people in the back of the train on New Year's Eve decide to start an uprising.
as they do.
It's not good. I don't know why people love it. They made a series, and I don't know how you did it, but anyway, 200 Cigarettes, which was a mid to late 90s movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got nothing.
You're drawing
then-
a lot of blanks here.
Yeah, and then finally we get down to Ghostbusters 2.
Okay.
Like a good movie. Like a good majority of that movie takes place on New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
When Harry Met Sally, Trading Places, Boogie Nights are all. They have important scenes at New Year's Eve. Money Train, Wesley Snipes and Jennifer Lopez, I think, about a train robbery. I think it's a subway train robbery on New Year's Eve, because people move money on subway trains in New York. I don't know.
Of course.
As long as they pay their taxes.
Oh, here's one that you might be interested in. New Year's Evil.
Hell yeah.
Surprisingly enough, the whole movie is based on New Year's on that one.
Fuck yeah.
There's a movie called Carol, which I should have wrote more about, but I know it only had a scene. Strange Days, which is pretty cool. Like, I don't know if you've seen that one or not. Late 90s, kind of apocalyptic. I think one of Ray Fiennes' earlier movies. Like, it's a bizarre little indie movie that I saw. And I want to say it was in the 90s because I'm pretty sure I saw it when I was in college.
Okay.
Ocean's 11. The 1960 version. The original is a casino heist on New Year's Eve, where the new one is just a casino heist. New one is far better, but Godfather 2 has a scene. Assault on Precinct 13.
All right.
I don't. Have you guys seen either one of those versions?
Yeah, I think so.
The newer one is set on New Year's Eve.
I saw the newer one.
Apparently, and I'm going to think badly of you if either of you know that there's a scene in High School Musical set on New Year's Eve.
Never seen them.
Haven't
Okay.
seen that one.
Good. All right. There's another a romantic movie. I don't think it's time travel, but it's about an immortal lady called Age of Adeline.
Okay.
Um,
Ugh.
Nope.
Nope, not doing so hot with this segment.
yeah, and no, it's really. And then there's a movie called Happy New Year, and then finally Serendipity, which I only saw because of my obsession with John Cusack.
Apparently,
anyway.
us, we here at PCR are not big on the New Year's films.
Yes.
No, apparently not.
This is not a holiday we celebrate.
I did think of an awesome action movie plot that's set on New Year's though once.
All right, well let's see if you can give us a better movie than any of the ones we just talked about.
All right, so here's the scenario. You're sweeping over the night sky of Times Square, and our action hero is just freshly divorced from his wife, and his family is having a rough patch, and he's off the force because he's gone rogue in the last movie. It might be John McClane, we don't know. Whoever wants to buy the script, it's fine. But it turns out, so terrorists have a plot, and they put bombs inside of the ball. They managed to do it somehow. And when the ball is going to drop, that's when they're going to go off. So he has until midnight to figure out how to stop the ball from dropping.
All right.
And it's an action packed. He's in the tight corners of the street, and there's a million people, and he's got to like go undercover and do all this crazy shit. I don't know. We could fill the rest in later, but
Yeah.
really,
I mean,
it's about the ball.
It sounds better than the rest of these.
It does.
I think so.
Well, it kind of what it told me was that there's, I guess maybe because like Christmas or Halloween like has more of a defined like set of things. Like it's really easy to have a movie where there's a scene with New Year's Eve or about New Year's, but it's really hard to do a whole movie just off of like the one thing. And I don't know why it's so much harder to do a whole movie off of that. I guess maybe because Christmas, there's a whole season involved. Like,
right.
You got the whole month of December rather than just the one day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
So I imagine if we do more holiday stuff, it's going to be, because I think even like Valentine's Day, like there's not a lot of movies that are just set like on Valentine's Day, or I don't know. We'll worry about that well, no, we're not going to do it maybe next year. Anyway. Okay. So I got a little bit here, and I used the wrong color ink on this.
Oh no.
I did a little bit of history on Rockin' New Year's Eve.
Okay.
Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve.
All right.
It started in 72 on NBC and then moved over to ABC in 75. Dick Clark started it to compete with. Have either of you ever heard of a guy named Guy Lombardo?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay. He's a big band guy from back in the day, but he used to have a New Year's Eve show called Guy Lombardo and his Royal Canadians.
Okay.
Anyway,
You filthy Canadians.
This
This is our New Year.
Canadians.
okay, here we go. Yeah, okay, it ran from 1928 to 1976. It stopped in 76 because he died in 77
Oh.
before they could get to do it that year.
Yikes.
From 28 to 56, it was just on the radio, and then from 56 to 76, it was on CBS. Dick Clark in 72 was like, you know what? Nobody wants to watch Mr. Stuffy Pants and his top hats doing big band swing and a bunch of old people wearing tuxes and ball gowns. What they want is Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
And eventually Miley Cyrus.
And Pete Davidson.
How far we've come.
But he was like, kids don't want to watch that. So he was like, I'm going to do the New Year's thing, but I'm gonna make it fun. And I'm sure at the time there were a lot of old fuddy-duddies going, oh, tut, how dare you?
Yeah.
Oh, don't you know? But I mean, you're going to New Year's Eve parties. You're not, just listening to big bands swing, and like maybe at midnight, Old Lang Syne plays.
Right.
But up until then, you've been rocking out to ELO for an hour.
Oh yeah, that's what we had on here at the Jordan House.
Absolutely.
So Dick Clark did that from 72 to 04, then had his stroke. And then Regis Philbin did it in 05, but he came back. That's when they hired Ryan Seacrest in 06.
Mm-hmm.
But Dick Clark and Ryan Seacrest did it from 06 to 2012.
Yeah.
Where that gave us a bunch of unfortunate memes and people kind of made fun of Dick Clark. I mean, that was sad. It was really sad.
That's cruel. What kind of monster laughs at something like that?
I'm pretty sure if we go back and listen to old episodes, we probably did.
It doesn't matter. They're gone.
Yep.
And then Ryan Seacrest. I don't know. Did Ryan Seacrest do it this year?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Because I didn't watch that one. I couldn't figure out what channel it was on and just gave up. And I found Miley Cyrus first and was like, I'll just watch this.
Yeah. Hopefully her top falls off or something. We'll keep this
Oh.
one. Oh, what do you know?
What do you know? right.
Yeah, he was on it again. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously this year, the three of us, had just a riot, riotous, raucous New Year's Eve where we each individually sat at home and did nothing.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
I almost went out, but the sidewalks were too icy. I was gonna go to the square to watch the ball. They were doing a ball drop on the square in East Troy.
Didn't they do it at like 10:30 though?
Did they? Oh, I thought they were doing it at midnight.
I thought I heard somebody say they were doing it at like 10:30.
Oh, well, either way, I made it to like the first sidewalk and it was like, fuck this. I can't walk on this. And I went back home. So,
all right. So I don't know if the two of you have, I mean, I know myself, like it's been a long time since I've been like, I want to go do something on New Year's. I'm going to go like hang out with a bunch of people or go to somebody's house. Like I pretty much, well, the last couple of years when the wife has had to work the next day, most of my New Year's tradition has been play video games until about 11:30, maybe 11:55, find the channel with Ryan Seacrest, watch the ball drop. If she doesn't have to work the next day, we're over at the in-laws' house. We were over at grandma's house a couple times, but I mean, not exactly like big. So my holiday traditions growing up, when I was with my family, was we played board games, and we had like finger food. Like maybe we had a kind of a nice meal, but like for the most part, it was just like cheese and sausage and fake champagne or fake wine, whatever, that sparkling grape juice.
Yeah.
We played trivia games or card games, whatever. And then we would flip on the TV, watch the ball drop, and then, go to bed.
right.
That's pretty much also what I did with my friends. Maybe I think in high school when the youth group would do like lock-ins, we would like play games or play basketball or whatever it was church youth groups did. But I've never done the crazy party where you get 1,000 people in one building and like everybody's drinking, and like that's just never been me. What are your guys' New Year's traditions?
Don't really do too much for New Year. Even growing up, we would usually just hang out with like the neighbors. Like we'd all get together, play board games, video games, just the cards until midnight. Yeah, then we drink the sparkling grape juice. Everyone would go to their own houses and go to bed. When I was an adult, about the same. Like a couple of years ago, we've had a couple times since I've had the house, we've had a couple people over, like 3, 4, really small group playing games, cards.
Jeremy,
something.
you ever get an invite to that one, Jeremy?
I don't know. I think I actually was at one of them.
He's been there. He lives within walking distance. I can make sure he's safe.
I see how it is.
I-
I used to live within walking distance.
Yeah.
How? Yeah. Huh.
I didn't have a house
hot
there,
in
did
here.
I?
Yes, you
suddenly.
did. Huh.
Yeah, it's never been a big thing. And then like the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years, I think it's just been just the family at the house, which has been fine. I don't like the big groups of people making all kinds of
Yeah.
shenanigans.
Well, I kind of figured that was where you were going to go with it because, you and I have known each other for a while. But the one person who hasn't spoken on his New Year's traditions is the one I figure has done the big crazy parties. So, Jeremy, what about you?
Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, I have done a lot of crazy parties, but it's also part of the reason why I'm not able to give you too many memories of New Year's because I don't recall a lot of the events. I mean, growing up, I had very similar situations to you guys. I would have family over and do board games as well. And we had the finger foods and the cocktail weenies are a must.
Oh,
gotta have to.
and any event needs them.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. We should have brought some to this.
Yeah.
For Christmas, we did the cocktail weenies wrapped in bacon.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
awesome. Yeah. Hell yeah. But yeah, so we did that as a family growing up too. And then as I got older, one of my favorite ones was when we were at my friend Kelly's house. He was living at his grandpa's house. And then him and Colin moved in for a while and we were in college. And he used to throw like ragers, like just people fucking everywhere, like it was a movie or something. And that was a good one. I don't think anything too crazy happened, but I just remember it being like loads of fun. Just everyone from town was there, like all my close friends, and then just a lot of random people too. There was the one where I met Julie. That was a good one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I tell a story about that on one of the Media Pod Smashes, I think. Like I go walking to this place to get the bus with Mitch and DJ, and like we have to like leave the store really fast and like leave the hand warmers behind because the bus is coming, and there's like this whole fiasco. And then, you know, as I got deeper into my 20s, it became different. And now I'm at the point where I like this last one, I just didn't do anything at all. And I don't know. I'm okay with that.
I feel like if we were to host a pop culture roulette New Year's Eve party, it wouldn't be terribly different than what it would just be three of us and a couple other people standing around staring at each other. Yeah, maybe we'd have Ryan Seacrest on in the background.
Yeah,
Nah,
we can find out on the channel.
We'd probably be playing like the You Don't Know Jack games or something. The party boxes on the PlayStation and
Oh, guys,
Yeah.
it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh, we totally missed it.
Cards Against Humanity, something. Do you guys ever care if we turn it on? Nah.
Nah, fuck it.
Ah.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, here's some strange New Year's traditions around the planet. Yeah, man, I got to make sure I throw that pen away and never use it again. Side note here, don't use gold ink.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Not sure I have gold ink Midas, but good to know.
All right. So in Denmark, they have a tradition of throwing unused plates at neighbors or friends and family at their doors and breaking them for good luck.
I feel like you could have made this into a game of had us guess where.
We could have, but I didn't. And I had plenty of time to make it into a game. I just anyway. In South America, all right. Here's a game. In South America, the color of your underwear dictates how your year is going to go. So, what color underwear were you wearing on Friday night?
I think I remember Friday.
Friday night. I think they were just black.
Green.
Okay, black means you're going to take charge and regain control.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
I think they might maybe green.
Ooh, this one doesn't fit you, but maybe it does. Adventure. You're going to have adventure this year.
You might leave the state.
Again?
I was wearing blue, so I'm going for wellness.
All right. Good for you.
Nice.
If you're wearing red, you're getting the love or the romance, more of the romantic style. Yellow means money.
Who wears yellow underwear?
Yeah, I don't think I own any. Might have to change that.
White means peace and tranquility.
Okay.
And if you were wearing pink, it means love, but more of like the family friends kind of love, not the romantic style love, you know.
Okay.
More like red is like the eros love, like the like I said, and then pink is the agape style love, you know. Like when you say you love your mom, you're not like, oh, I love my mom. You're like, oh, I love my mom.
Right. I get it.
Here we go. Can the three of us go to Peru for New Year's Eve next year?
Doubtful.
Maybe.
Okay. Because they have something called the Takankui Festival, where you beat the shit out of each other to represent a fresh start.
Oh.
We don't have to go all the way to Peru to do that.
Yeah.
We could just meet up at the house and close the door.
Here's one that is kind of crazy. In Ireland, they spot clean the house, like just like top to bottom, everything gets cleaned. they even go so far as to like start like scrubbing the outside of the house and
okay.
cleaning the garden and then at midnight
Yeah.
they throw bread at the wall to ward off evil spirits.
Well, of course. I mean,
What else would you throw at evil spirits?
Yeah.
Pumpernickel?
they hate bread.
Ah. Too many carbs.
Yeah.
Well,
Gotta
yeah,
watch that ghostly figure.
that's I must be possessed by an evil spirit then.
We'll make sure we throw bread.
Oh wait, I need to be possessed.
Yeah,
Wait.
you could use one in
I
your
could
life.
use the evil spirit, so I'm opposed to. But yeah, it was like, okay, so you're gonna spend like all of that time like deep cleaning your house, like
Right.
getting it perfect, and then at midnight just start chunking bread at the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell?
Right. The other
It's
thing was
not like pasta or something. It's just
yeah,
bread.
that's true. And then the to go back to the one from Denmark, how is it good luck to like come to your home, like wake up the next morning and have your porch just littered with broken, plates?
White chunks everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, look at all the broken plates. I have so many friends and family who apparently want me to cut my foot off.
Yeah. Who now need dishware?
Yeah, this was just concocted by the dish companies.
Throw your dishes and buy new ones.
We've not been selling enough dishes. Yeah, no, New Year's we break dishes.
Yeah.
Oh, have you guys heard of any crazy traditions around the world those are just some of the ones I found. I mean, they had some other ones that were just, whatever, but
Not that I know of.
Besides watching a giant ball go down a pole. That's about
Well,
it.
that one's pretty crazy.
funny you should speak of that. I was looking for like the different types of balls or different things that people drop at midnight around the world, but apparently the rest of the world doesn't do that. We're like the only ones.
It seems very American.
I just wrote down the more interesting ones, but there are so many, and so many of them are just like a ball or something very similar to that. Miami has an orange.
Okay.
Atlanta has a peach. Indianapolis has an Indy car.
They drop a car.
Yeah, they've got a big car on a pole.
Okay.
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 Well, because of the whole Indianapolis Speedway there.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Of course, obviously, we know New York City has the ball. Raleigh, North Carolina has an acorn.
All right.
Cincinnati has a pig that gets flown in, so it doesn't like come down. Like they just have a pig that flies in because they want to prove that at least once a year pigs can fly. Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds really humane.
I gather that it's not a real pig.
I hope not.
Beavertown, Pennsylvania has a stuffed beaver.
Okay.
Because they took it super literal, I guess. This one was weird. Dillsburg, Pennsylvania does 2 pickles. One at 7 p.m., which is the time it turns midnight in Ireland. And then they have a giant pickle they call Mr. Pickle that they drop at midnight.
All right.
Okay. I used to drop Mr. Pickle at midnight too every once in a while, depending on where I was at and how drunk I was. Okay.
All right. Moving on.
Okay, moving on.
The one I watched on TV was in Nashville, and they dropped a music note.
Okay. Yeah, somehow I missed Nashville or decided it wasn't.
It wasn't important.
Wasn't important. Eichsburg or Icksburg, I'm not 100% sure. Pennsylvania drops a giant French fry.
All right. What's with Pennsylvania trying to drop all this shit?
Oh, you should read the list. There's a Wikipedia thing that has all of the major ones, or I'm sure every city that's put their own. Pennsylvania by far has the most of any state. Like it's insane.
We could drop that link into the, once this episode comes out so everyone can look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeremy,
Sure,
you'll have to
well-
remember. You'll have to remember that, or
We'll get right on that.
Yeah, put it on the old Facebook page.
okay, I'll have to remember that.
Everybody remember but me.
Try not to
Um,
drop the ball on that.
Mobile, Alabama has a giant moon pie.
Really?
I enjoy
Yeah.
moon pie.
That's the place where they saw the leprechaun in the tree.
Well, apparently they also drop giant moon pies there.
Sounds like an awesome place.
New Orleans has the fleur de lis
Okay.
because I think the last couple of years, they obviously the New York ball drops at 11 here, so they started showing like the Central Time Zone, where they do New Orleans and they have the fleur de lis because like we see because it was. I don't know if you remember. Well, you know what? We'll get.
I don't
back to
even
that in a
know what
second.
you're talking about. I
You
don't
don't-
know what
the
that
f-
is.
It's like the symbol on the Saints helmet, the fleur de lis.
Okay. I guess
Okay.
I'm just an idiot because I never heard that before.
I just assumed because the Saints exist that everybody knew what that symbol was.
I
Apparently not.
nope. You met
Okay.
the one person. I didn't know
So-
that was the name of it.
Okay, yeah. All right. So the New Orleans Saints football helmet symbol, they
Mhm.
dropped that at midnight.
Okay.
Yes.
What's it made out of?
I think it's just like a big glass or metal structure.
Okay.
We'll get back to the list in a second because I thought it was pretty interesting. I lived like growing up in Memphis, obviously was the Central Time Zone, but then I moved to Atlanta in high school. And then I lived in Virginia and Florida. So for a long time, I lived on the East Coast. So when the ball dropped at midnight, that was midnight. But now, like I noticed that when they do like the Ryan Seacrest coverage,
hmm
they will show it, air it, and then like at 11:45, like they cut and they show like the local news or they have some sort of, and then like they bring it back at like 11:30, and then they air it like it never, and then so over the last couple of years, I noticed that they'll drop the ball at 11, and then they cut to like New Orleans where like John Legend or somebody is hosting. So Ryan Seacrest is still in New York, and then. But I remember there was a couple of years in a row where like Conan O'Brien, because he doesn't air until like, he didn't air until, well, there it was one, would show like a random ball dropping in like California or
Mm.
so like he would celebrate New Year's Eve because he was like, you guys all celebrated 2 hours ago. Here it is at like, All right. Anyway. Okay.
Right.
This one is not going to resonate with any of our listeners that don't live in this state. But Prairie du Chien, we're aware of this town. Like you heard of it.
hmm
Okay. They get a very real but dead carp and drop it at midnight.
All right.
All right.
And then the one I saved for last because it's in my estimation one of the weirder ones. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania has a gigantic peep.
Like the sugary duck.
Yes, like the sugary duck that they drop at midnight.
All right.
Okay.
Don't like
So-
them when they're small. I definitely don't like them when they're giant.
Is that where
Uh,
peeps come from?
I think that's where they come from. I did notice that a lot of the towns were like, we drop a moon pie. Well, that's where the people who make moon pies are like based out of.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
like, but there are so many of the towns are like, well, we have a giant ball we drop. New York's got that. Done. Moving on.
Yeah.
That's boring. It's old hat. Everybody else does that.
Yeah.
I want to know about you dropping a dead carp.
Yeah, come back to me when you got the carp.
Yeah. When you drop dead animals.
We
We
got a
should-
stuffed beaver.
We need to drop like some cheese or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. Milwaukee doesn't apparently do anything.
Can of PBR going down.
Yeah.
I was also surprised that Chicago didn't. You'd figure that Chicago would have something big because
Big
they're-
giant piece of pizza.
they think they're
Just
they
a
think
giant
they're
gun.
something. I mean, Chicago thinks they're big and bad and they're great.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of surprised they don't have like a big New Year's Eve celebration, like down near Navy Pier or like on Miracle Mile, or
Mm-hmm.
No,
like maybe because it's just too friggin' cold there, but
could
Yeah,
be.
it really.
it's pretty freaking cold in New York too. So
Yeah, I don't know how those people do that all night. That's fucking insane.
well, I mean,
Yeah,
think
no,
about it.
no thanks.
Even though you're outside, I mean, think about how many thousands of people are there on Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's probably pretty warm. Like when you put, 20,000, 30,000, however many people in that small of a space.
I suppose, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's too many people. Not for me.
That's I've had friends who are like, I really want to go there once just in my life to say I've done it. I mean, like, nah, I'm good. Like
Yeah.
when I was over at a friend's house and we had like 20 people, it was like, this is a bit much, really. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah,
ah,
limited to like 5.
I'm just gonna go home. A couple of New Year's babies. Frank Langella.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys have definitely seen him. If you saw him, you'd know who he is. He's one of those, he was in everything in the 80s and probably 90s. I think he was Skeletor in the He-Man movie.
Mm.
All right.
Vern Troyer.
Oh.
Okay.
Rest his soul.
Paul Revere.
God rest his soul.
All right.
Grandmaster Flash.
God rest his soul.
He could still be alive.
Okay.
Katrina Law.
Ah, yes.
You don't know who she is, do
I've
you?
fantasized
No.
about her many times.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Justin, you know who she is. She was on Arrow and a bunch of those shows.
All right. Which one on Arrow?
Wasn't she Ra's al Ghul's daughter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
she was. Yeah.
The actor Morris Chestnut.
Old Chestnut.
Sounds made up.
It might be, but that's what he goes by. Good old JPP.
Who's
You
that?
know,
With his missing
You know,
fingers.
JPP. Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah.
This one I wrote down because in the late 90s when I was in college, I had a roommate that was obsessed with wrestling. So I watched a lot of it with him. I mean, I probably enjoyed it more than I should have, but that was definitely during the Attitude Era where
That's
Rock
the best.
got-
That's the best era.
where The Rock got his start and Stone Cold and Bill Goldberg and
Mhm.
Kimberly Page. Do you remember her,
I do not.
Justin?
Maybe I remember Diamond Dallas Page.
No, also Betty Ross. Oh no, Betsy Ross. I'm sorry,
Betsy
Betsy.
Ross.
Betsy Ross.
Legend.
And then Ellen Nordgren, or Elin, aka Tiger Woods' ex-wife.
Yikes.
Which was kind of like the anyway. Moving on from that before we say something stupid.
Yeah.
Well, we never do that.
No, not here.
All right, so I mean, okay, so we just burned through my New Year's notes way faster than I thought we would, but
Quick, get some more memories out. Do you have any resolutions?
okay, yeah, there we go. That's what we're gonna get to. Let's talk
Okay.
about resolutions. Do you guys make resolutions?
No. I tried, and then I was just like, I never followed through, so I just gave up.
Oh,
Yeah, that's about what I do.
well,
I know I stopped drinking soda on New Year's. I don't remember how many years ago that was. I haven't had soda since. That might have been the last one I actually stuck with.
that's a good one.
That was
All right,
about,
well-
like 12 years ago.
Well, Jeremy, you've been on a self-help kick a lot recently. How about you? What have you been doing? Did you make any New Year's resolutions this year, or do you make them?
Well, I try to be a better person every single day. So a new year really isn't going to do much for me in terms of goal setting. But If I were to make a list, I would say I want to continue to make big creative projects and try to do better than I did the last time out from whatever the last project was. So I guess that's about it. I mean, it would be nice to stop night eating all the time because I just can't stop. So maybe that one. Maybe I'll add that to the list.
Try to stop snacking at night.
Yeah.
All right. I generally don't make New Year's resolutions for the same reason that Justin said he didn't. Like, I'm probably not going to keep them anyway.
I'll do them
Well,
for
that-
like a month.
Not with those piss poor attitudes, guys.
But this year,
Yes.
this year, I decided that I'm going to. It's not really so much a New Year's resolution as like it is a thing that I started a couple months ago, but I really want to even go further than what I've done so far, and I want to continue down this path. Like I said, I mean, the last couple weeks have probably not been the best, but with last time I weighed myself, I was really close to 40 pounds down since October.
All right.
It's. I know the next couple of months are going to be difficult because it's going to be hard to get out and actually do something.
Besides shovel.
That's what the snowblower is for. I'm 43. My back can't handle shoveling anymore
Yeah, I snow blow as well.
because it's like if I don't use the snowblower, I'm not going to work tomorrow. But I figured, aside from personal, let's make some pop culture roulette
Oh boy.
New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
All right. So I want to say let's resolve, because we've done a pretty good job this year, and since we didn't start,
This year's 2 days old.
well, I'm talking about 2021.
I haven't missed an episode this year.
Yeah,
You haven't?
Not this year.
not this year.
Maybe didn't we miss one?
It's,
I feel like we've
What?
missed a couple.
Okay. I'm
It's
talking about
only-
2022,
yeah,
dog.
it's only 2
Oh.
days old.
Okay.
It was a
no.
joke that didn't land.
Yeah.
Oh,
Much
'cause
like
I'm-
the other ones I've tried this episode. Mr. Pickle was killer. How
I-
dare you?
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have 38 episodes up. And we didn't start recording again until the end of February. So 38 plus 8, what's that? Somebody does math?
Oh,
46.
46. There are 52 weeks in a year.
Mhm.
So we only missed 4 weeks this year.
That's not bad.
All right. Obviously, we're going to include
6 weeks. 38 and 46 to 52 is 6.
Okay, so we missed 6 episodes.
All right. That's still not bad.
That's still not bad. I want to resolve to miss fewer episodes.
I'm not going to be able to do that one.
Well, even if me and Nicholas, we could still just do something.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
like we can record our, I'm including the interview series in there. But the same thing you said, you want to do bigger creative projects and more, more stuff like that.
Yeah.
I want this podcast to grow in the same way. Like I want us to do, bigger, more creative projects as well. That's why I want to do at least one themed episode a month.
Okay.
Where we come up with a different theme every month and talk about it. I want to do more interviews. We have currently around 140 likes on Facebook. I want to be over 200 by the end of the year.
Okay.
I'm going to write some of these down.
What are you gonna do to get proactive with these wishes?
I don't know. I mean, we just got to keep doing it. I mean, we got to keep putting out the episodes. We got to keep promoting it. I will keep doing spots on other people's podcasts and hopefully entertaining people enough that they're like, hey, I like this guy. I liked his opinions on Lethal Weapon and Better Off Dead. I'm going to go check out his podcast.
All right.
And I'm not being crazy here. I'm not saying like I want to like go and be like, I want to be over 1,000 by the end of the year or something. Like, I don't feel like going from like where we are right now.
Or is that
Which-
160 to 140 to 200?
No, that's not it. Let's see where we're at right now.
Okay.
Let's resolve this right now.
Yeah.
All right, we're at 137.
Okay, so 63.
I don't feel like adding 63 is that difficult. I can think of one person right away that doesn't like our podcast, but is one of the most consistent, like at least hits like buttons on our post, Derek Pfister.
Okay.
So
we're just gonna call people out by name now.
well, no, I'm just saying, like, I mean, you can cut this part out. I mean,
Every episode, just one person gets called out.
well, you reminded me of it when you posted that old episode where we talked about it, and we did call people out. We're like, hey, Sarah something or other, you're our most recent like.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. All right, yeah, we can bring that back.
But I mean, okay, how about
Derek,
that?
please like our page. We need you.
And then if you tell a friend, and then
Yeah.
they tell a friend.
All right, but the two of you can go through your friends list and invite people. You have access. Like I believe, if memory serves,
Ooh.
I gave you guys admin ability on the Facebook page.
I
All right,
know
I'll start bugging people on it.
I don't want people to know I'm associated with this.
I mean, you have us on your podcast often enough that I don't think you can help it. I mean, I watched part 1 of the Christmas episode, which, by the way, I gotta tell you, even though we were involved in it, you killed it with that Christmas thing.
Oh, thank you.
I mean,
thank
the
you.
beginning of it was hilarious, and the commitment to growing out your hair and beard for the year.
Thanks. Yeah, it was fun to shoot that.
Just so you could like cut it and have it as a visual joke.
Well, I'm glad there was a payoff for somebody.
But you know, I don't know. I mean, what other things as a podcast can we like resolve? Like this is, you know,
Oh man, I don't know.
I don't know. I like the ones when we actually get together more when we're all in the same group. I feel like those have a lot better energy.
Yeah, I wish we could. Let's resolve to do more in-person ones.
okay. You know, like we can, and sometimes they can be the same. Themed ones can be in person, but I think we should try to do it once a month where we get together.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that would be really nice.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I would love to get together and do it in person like every week, but that's just a bit of a hike.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Like a legitimate 5-minute hike for me.
yeah, but it takes 5 minutes to get from your house to his.
I mean, if I hiked, like,
Oh,
You
okay.
hiked.
I mean, I
Yeah.
don't mind driving up there, but like if we're not recording until 7 o'clock, like that gets a little difficult. But like if we get together at like noon on a Saturday or a Sunday, that's, you know, that works for me.
Okay.
I'm always down for that, especially if I know a couple weeks ahead of time. But Justin, you said you had some notes that you did. You had some New Year stuff down. What do you bring?
I had no notes.
You said you did.
I said I've been writing notes as we were talking.
Oh,
I'm taking
oh,
notes.
taking notes. Oh, all right. Well, maybe that'll actually hold us. That actually hold us to doing stuff. Somebody actually writing this shit down.
Oh,
'Cause, let's real quickly. Did you see Antonio Brown freak out today?
yes,
Yeah.
I did. It was great.
Is that the end of Antonio Brown?
I would hope so. I think they've realized that there's enough is enough.
Yeah.
Just to
I mean,
do that mid game. Even in the press conference afterwards, Bruce Arians says he's no longer a member of the Buccaneers franchise.
I can't imagine any team wanting to pick that headache up after what he's done to multiple franchises now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A
Like,
lot,
and
of that can go back to that one concussion too. He had.
From
My understanding of
Vontez
it-
Perfect.
Yeah.
my understanding of it is he was an asshole before the
Yeah,
concussion.
he had a couple before. But if you look at the like the track record, it got way, way worse after the fact. That's when he tried to like punt the punter in the head and
Well, because I remember
throw
a couple years
furniture
ago,
off balconies.
who did he play for in between the Steelers and the Buccaneers?
I played with the Patriots briefly.
Okay. When he got signed by the Patriots, ESPN did a long, deep dive article on Antonio Brown and like a lot of his off the field antics and the amount of people that he would like stiff. Like he would have giant events at his party and catering, and they would come, and then at the end of it, they'd be like, "Okay, here's my bill," and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm not paying that. I'm Antonio Brown. You did this for the free press." Or different masseuses or people or other people that he had come to his house to do work, and he would try to pull the same thing. So I mean, this is a guy who threw furniture off of however many story high rise in Miami because he was mad at his girlfriend for stiffing him on something. This is not we cannot blame the concussions on being a dick.
Well, we've all been in situations where we've thrown furniture. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Some of us just live on the first floor. So it's not as big of a deal.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's
He needs your compassion now more than ever.
He's not getting it.
it's too easy to blame CTE and say, oh, because of CTE, these guys went and murdered their whole family. Like there are a lot of football players who have had a lot of injuries, a lot of wrestlers who have had a lot of injuries that don't kill their entire families or don't kill themselves or don't murder people. A lot of them. And so to say, well, it's because of CTE. Well, I mean, it probably didn't help, but I mean, at the same time, like they're probably just assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly.
Like Anthony Hernandez was just an asshole.
Aaron Hernandez.
Aaron Hernandez, yeah, sorry. Aaron Hernandez was an asshole.
I'm sure Anthony Hernandez is a nice guy.
But
We're sorry for that, Anthony.
But his CTE didn't help it, but it wasn't the reason that he was out there doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's neither here nor there.
He will be missed. By Brady, probably.
Probably not.
I don't. Brady's probably like, I saved your ass for this.
Yeah. I
All
told him
right.
to sign you. Why?
Well, let's
And then
see.
we've also had the tragic passing of Betty White too.
Oh yeah, I did want to talk about that.
Just far gone too soon.
I cannot. I mean, I get it. Like, I mean, she is an American legend. She is. I mean, the things that she did in her career were trailblazing. I mean, it is beyond amazing what she did in her 99, just shy of 100 years on this planet. But yeah, so many people on Facebook posting, it's so sudden, it's so soon. Like, come on, she's 99. Like, she almost
Come
was 100 years old. Like, and part of me at first, I was like, oh, I wonder what the cause of death was. She was 99. That's what the cause of death
How could
was.
this have happened? Not
Yeah.
Betty White.
I mean, it does not take away from the tragedy of it, but I'm just saying, like, come on. Like,
It is a shame though, because they were going to do a movie to celebrate the 100th, and they had the People thing coming out, the People magazine with the big cover story of her 100th birthday. which of course they're still going to be rolling out. But
Yeah, it's just going to be a celebration of Betty White.
yeah.
I did appreciate her back and forth with Ryan Reynolds.
Mhm.
That was funny, I mean, Golden Girls was never my cup of tea. I mean, I know a lot of people love that show, but
What do you think? Was it Hot in Cleveland?
I didn't watch very much of that.
That one I thought was pretty good. It had its moments.
What about that old person prank show? That was good.
I mean, Betty White was always amusing. Betty White was clearly the best part of Golden Girls,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was funny, and yeah, she will be missed.
Mhm.
Have either of you watched the Matrix movie yet? The new one,
No.
Revolutions, Resurrections. Revolutions was the third one. Have you seen the other three?
I haven't seen the third one.
I've seen the first and third. I don't think I saw the second one.
Do not watch Resurrections unless you've seen all three other Matrix movies.
Hmm.
All right.
You will not understand giant sections of it if you haven't seen.
There's giant sections of the other ones I don't understand. Haven't watched them.
I'll just do myself a favor now and add it to the skip list then.
I watched it. You could probably add it to the skip list anyway.
All right.
The first movie, we've talked about my feelings on the first Matrix. I think you guys both know where I stand on that movie. The second and the third ones are okay. Like, I'm not going to bash them the way a lot of other people do. This one was almost too meta for its own good. It took a good 45 minutes into the movie before you really kind of actually figured out what was going on. Justin, your big complaint about Force Awakens being just a straight up remake of A New Hope.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the first 45 minutes of the Matrix Resurrections, okay, so you're just, but
It's a rip-off of Star Wars.
Yes, it was a rip-off of Star Wars. No, it's a rip-off of the first Matrix, but they're making you aware from very early that they know that they're ripping off the first Matrix.
Oh.
So it was kind of you're supposed to be in on the joke, but it's not supposed to be a joke. It just it trips over itself trying to be too smart. It's not a bad movie. Keanu Reeves is an excellent actor, and Neil Patrick Harris did a great job, and everybody. The movie looked amazing, but at the end of the day, it was just kind of you could have left it at the end of at the end of Revolutions and been done with it.
Just trying to go for more money.
You didn't. Well, and they even kind of make, and I'll spoil it a little bit. Everybody's had a couple weeks to watch it, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They make jokes about, they talk about so the whole thing is Keanu Reeves, Neo, gets brought back into the Matrix, and they explain how that happens. And they make him think that he's a game designer who designed the first 3 Matrix as video games. That's why he has memories of them, because he designed it all. And so they sit down and they're like, oh, well, Warner Brothers is going to force us to do a new game. He's like, well, I told you, no sequels, no games. I'm done. And well, they said they're very clear. If we're not involved, then they're just going to do it without us. And Warner Brothers obviously is the production studio of The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
So it was clearly the director going, well, they said they were going to reboot the franchise, so I might as well be involved in it. So I have a say over it. And it was just kind of it was a lot of that, wink, wink, and it was just, it got too smart for its own good at a lot of points.
Whoa.
I'm not gonna give it I'm gonna call it a solid 5 out of 10. It's just right down the middle.
All right.
I didn't hate that I watched it, but at the same time, if I had never seen it, I would, wouldn't cry about it.
Okay.
Fair.
Have either of you gone and seen Spider-Man yet?
No.
I haven't gone anywhere recently.
That's right. You haven't been allowed out of the house for the last week and a half. All right, well then. As we go around the world and look at various New Year's traditions, if you're dropping a giant carp or a stuffed beaver, or
Wait, we have another celebrity death.
oh,
Rob Bruce.
oh yeah, that's just back in the
Yeah.
day. Yeah,
That was earlier.
No, did they say why or how?
No, it's just that it was in that storage unit. They just gave the circumstances, but not the cause.
Oh,
It's
yeah, I
pretty
saw
fucked
that.
up though.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. That's all I got. Okay.
Okay, all right. Anyway, so where was I? Stuffed
Going
beavers,
around stuffed beavers.
giant carps. You're dropping those, or you're taking your football jersey off in the middle of a game and throwing it into the stands. Just remember that stupid never walks alone.
Oh yeah.